Oh, well then, hello. I'm going to hope that people can find me over here. Uh, Hopefully this has gone live onto my regular stream, and I am apologizing because I don't know what toasted my internet just now, but it toasted like everything. So that was crazy. So let me see if I can type to Randy right quick. I think the other live stream may have ended. Yay! Okay, great, great, great. I am so sorry for that, everybody. I gotta be honest, I really don't know what happens. Sometimes we have military planes that come flying over, and I've got to admit, for the 5G stuff, um, it can knock us off when the military planes come through. So I can't blame them. They're running on 5G, and I got to be honest, I would rather have a helicopter or an airplane stay up in the sky than have my internet stay established. Obviously, I'd like both, but between the two, some guys being up in the sky is far more important as far as 5G goes. Really wish they'd fix that before. I couldn't even get my Wi-Fi on my hotspot for my phone to play ball. So, anyway, good thing we were just sitting here chatting, huh? Oh Lord. Hopefully, we'll just give it a time for the chat to populate again. So we've got Randy, yay, Teresa Ford, great. Yeah, it kicked me off. I couldn't even stop it. I couldn't even get it froze. So hopefully we will cross fingers and hope that this one remains up. I'll have to throw a thumbnail up on it later. So here we go. Hi, Alice. Welcome, welcome. Denise. Hi, Hypnicity. Yay, yay. I am so sorry, everybody. Yeah, on my end, it completely cut me off. My screen froze. My internet froze. Hey, woman. Hey, glad to see Karen made it back in here too. Yeah, I was just telling them, it toasted my internet straight from the post. So I'm thinking that I may have had a military needed the usage of it. They do that. Sometimes I can hear the plane. It'll be really, really, really high up, and it will come through and it'll toast the internet for about 15 to 20 minutes. So, oh Lordy, let's just hope that it stays up this time. Yeah, well, what are you gonna do? I am so glad you guys waited on me. I am so sorry that happened. Well, I'll have to go back through later and see what the comment sections were. Oh, well, gotta live and learn, right? Oh, for Rascal. I liked Rascal. Let me see what I've got. Just grab some water here. The energy stuff is a right-brained activity, so just give me a second while I get over into the other energy for it. I'll try to reach out for Rascal right quick. Ooh, she's a little sore this morning. Ah, sweet as ever. A little tender, though. Just kind of opening her channels up for her spine. Sorry, I'm struggling a little bit with it. The speech center for me is in a different part of my brain. So there we go. Okay. So what I did on her was went ahead and cleaned and cleared the channel for the governing vessel, which was her spine, and also for the liver, gallbladder, and the bladder meridian. There we go. Randy, pet peeve of mine, people apologizing for something that they didn't do. It's a habit. I'm just apologizing for the inconvenience. I understand that it wasn't my fault, but still, I tried to do more. Oh, hey. I'm going to speak to this right quick. Mary Spirit, I am so sorry, but I'm not doing this this thingy in here with the supporters or whatever. I actually have a very firm stance against politics, and the reason why is because I don't do duality. Anything that is politics, sports is another one that you'll see me really take a stance against. And the same thing with, yeah, see, Randy's got it. This isn't a political channel. So I'm just going to say this for myself, when we fall into that political trap, and it is a trap, yeah, you want the peace in your life. That's fine. Um, all of that division was created by 2D entities, and that's just it. You're wanting peace. That's awesome. And this is why I do that. I don't want politics in here because the whole politic thing was created by 2D entities. It is a filter. And the reason that it was created is because the 2D entities need to feed off of our distress. Even seeing some of the names of the main players or numbers that are associated with it, I understand there was a big, rally thing last night, and there's going to be other rally things as they go. And I kind of think of them as football games, how people get together and they have their potlucks or whatever out into the parking lots before they go into the football stadiums or what have you. I get it. I don't like it. I still don't like it. I know that it is entertainment, but the whole thing is designed to literally suck your energy off because, as I said, nobody wins in the scenarios except for the and Mary Spirit. That's exactly what I'm doing right now. Everybody needs to understand that we're reaching for the humanity. If you want the spirit and the peace, just like Hypnicity's saying, wish them peace and move on. We're trying to bridge, not divide. And I've seen, please hold. I'm about to toast my computer again. It's the 2D entities, they don't care. They want everybody. And yeah, losing it again, aren't I? I'm hoping this is holding. Yeah. So the main thing is that literally is a 2D. That literally is a 2D entity construct. So the only people that are happy with that, are the 2D entities. This is going to be a very challenging live stream today. So I might need to set up another live stream later on. So if this cuts out and doesn't come back on, I think it is. I'll go ahead and set up another live stream later in the week. Did you guys have like a favorite day or something? Because I'm thinking maybe like a Friday. I might be able to pull Thursday off. But and oh, it's not really to pick on Mary Spirit. She probably doesn't know. But that's just it. It literally is, and I'm speaking to this from the Lemurian aspect. Our light that comes from the central sun is going to come through the outer bands of our planet. And so what happens is they hit those filters that were put in place by the 2D entities, and then it gets distorted. It distorts that pure undistorted light. And so what happens then is we begin to have the division and the distress. And that's where the 2D entities start siphoning off. Even if you're to go, say, to one of the rallies, or you're hooked into some of the stuff that's on there, anytime that there's that division thing happening, it just simply it feeds the 2D entity. So you'll find that it just simply sucks your own lifespan away. You miss your family. So there probably was some division in your family around the stuff. Your family deserted you. Hey, I've had the same thing happen to me over not political things. I've had it over different division points, which would be religion. The way that I express my own spirituality have certainly at times divided me from my family. And sometimes it's not just, when you're going through something and you're trying to learn who you are, and you begin to build a new family around you, because people will begin to resonate with that newer frequency that you're going on to. So you begin to pull in the people that are on the same ascension path as you are. And that doesn't mean that we abandon our families. Usually what happens is you begin to follow that higher ascension path, and then they all stand off to the side. But that's just it. And you're more than welcome here. And yeah, the division thing, like I said, it's not even, I don't even want to bring up their names, because it literally just feeds into that lower frequency of the 2D junk. And it's not, obviously their favorite game is being played out this year with the giant P, but every year I see the same divisions happen. I've seen families even tear themselves apart over baseball games and over football games and over, even in the same religions, they'll fight over passages in their books, what they think that they mean. Yeah, and it does hurt. And you are surrounded by love. And what's going to happen is, it's this thing that's called, don't run down the ladder. Sometimes we want our loved ones to come with us. You have to stay in your own lane for that, and they will follow you. The important thing is that you stay as much in your own light, in your own lane. And what's going to happen is, they're on their path, and in time, what's going to happen is, I usually find that they will come up to where you are. That way you don't go down the ladder. You don't go down in your frequency. And we're all a work in progress. So, we all have our wobbles, and you just pick yourself up, dust yourself off, reset your energy, and you keep aiming higher. Sometimes I have been really seriously alone on this ascension path, and I didn't have friends to share with. And with my family, I was smarter. I didn't interact with them whenever I was going through some of the ascension stuff, but I had high frequency friends. It kind of reverts back to whenever you're little kids and you have your imaginary friends. You can have, and you can create imaginary friends. Ask your unicorn to come in, your own personal unicorn to come in. Or if you prefer, you can have your own personal dragon come in. And I know it seems, and sometimes it's a combination of imaginary, but they get created as you imagine them. And in some instances, what you're imagining is actually just making contact with that being for the first time. So a lot of it is, take away the stigma of thinking, I've got to do this right. Let your imagination go wild. And what I find is usually the first hit that you get, the first images that you see pop into your head, or come out of your mouth is, yeah, see, that's perfect. Lean into your dragon. But usually the first instances that pop in, those are going to be your those are going to be your real feelings. And you can start visualizing, you can start drawing, and just really play with that and be with that and be in that higher energy. And then if you feel really lonely, sit and talk to them. See, you're having conversations with a dragon. That's beautiful. He is your friend. Thanks, Mousy. My curls. They're natural. Humidity makes them curl all the more. Beautiful. Beautiful. Native American. He might be. And the main thing on it is, I'm glad that your boyfriend is embracing your changes, and you'll feel into being able to share with other people. But don't have that be your focus right now. It can be extremely lonely. And like I said, whenever I started to do that, I went ahead and just simply asked for the sky. When our clouds are cleared off, and I happen to love our clouds, but when I have clear skies here, I see twinkling lights that are up in the sky. And they also will appear in my bedroom, usually at night. That's part of my Ascension things. I have disco lights in my bedroom at night, but I really lean on them for friendship for that. Oh, you want a collective read? Do you mean just Leah? Do you mean a card? Oops, sorry. Did you mean a card read, or do you want me to feel into it and give you like a theme for the week? Because this week we're still in the month of Fatwa, and so that is the sign of the falcon, and the falcon is purification this month. Leah, I never did get to see your picture, honey. I don't know if you sent it or not, but I haven't received it yet. A feel for the week. Well, I feel it's kind of potent at the moment. I keep accidentally knocking my internet off. Randy's all about, I want more power, and I keep knocking my internet out. I don't think that's what I need to be doing. Let me see if I can feel into it. And if I can't, then I'll pull one of the cards for us. That's odd. Okay, well, I got the word read. And they're showing me an old-time tomb, like some of the old libraries. Like if you go into the like a public library, you'll see like the Oxford Dictionary parked on its own podium, and it looks like a golden book. And okay, slow down a little here. I'm gonna call in some clarification. It's saying ancient books, and then I'm seeing the words actually being ripped right off of the book. Ooh, okay, that's why. Remove the ancient words. And that probably has to do with 2D histories, not real histories. And rewrite the new. And the new that they're showing me is kind of a really pretty silvery bluish light. And yes, everybody's got their own pen, and it looks like a silver feather pen. Wow. So how about that for a reading for the week? Oh, here we go. Lori, I love that. That's beautiful. Yep. Yeah, and that's just it. I just simply say keep in your own lane. Oh. Oops. Leah, have a snail problem. Oh, yeah. Yeah, with your fish tank. Snails can be really tricky. It's a little mercenary, but if you need to get rid of snails, birds absolutely adore them. So you could leave them in a tray on your back porch or windowsill for them. And then the other thing that you can do, if you have an aquarium, regular salt, you can take you can take table salt, but you can also take just like sea salt if you want to use it, and you can scrub your aquarium with that, rinse it really, really good. And I'm going to warn you, usually they'll have like this little decorative rim around the top. It'll look, usually it's black. Those snails will actually have their eggs hidden straight up underneath that rim. So be sure to take the salt underneath that and scrub really, really good if you're going to do that. I like leaving it sit for about 10 minutes and then rinse it out with some water. Rinse it really, really, really well. Or if they're outside, I don't know. It's just in the lake. Yeah, I wouldn't drop them in the lake. The lake actually has their own snail population. But a lot of times we'll have them come in the aquarium trade. Usually they'll come in on live rock if you have saltwater aquariums. And then also you can have them come in on live plants is the other one. And they're A lot of fish love eating them, but boy, they can be real boogers for that. Looks like we lost Annie Bear whenever I had that problem with the internet. That's a real shame. Yeah, see the birds. Yeah, birds love snails. My main thing would be if they are some sort of an invasive species, I don't think I would be allowing them anywhere near like the water or the waterways or any of the streams or anything. Oh, okay. So Annie Bear's baby came over. Yay. I know they have a lot of fun. Yep. Randy's right. We write our own story. That was a cool quill. It looked like those old timey feather quills that they used. It was silver. Actually, now that I'm thinking of it, it looked like a namu. It looked like a dove feather. But I'm sure everybody's going to have their own feathers for their own pins. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, thank you, Denise. Yep, thumbs up if you haven't already on the new stream. Whew, this thing jumps, doesn't it? Oh, wonderful. I'm so glad, Leah. Yay. I look forward to it. It was so awkward this morning. We were doing pretty good until I'm pretty sure that was the military that came through and turfed our internet. Oh, well. I'm sure somebody decided that it was needed. Alrighty. Well, beforehand, I think I was working on Hypnicity's Pop for the knee. Wow, the full moon energy kept me awake, so I'm slightly unfocused today. I'm unfocused today too, but mine was the exact opposite. Only it wasn't the full moon that did it. It was I got knocked. Do I dare say it? I got knocked out for activations yesterday, and I'm going to try to keep my energy system a little lower than I did last time because it's conceivable that I accidentally knocked it. Sometimes my energy system, if it gets excited, it will accidentally interfere with the Wi-Fi. Could be worse with my mom. She really interferes with the electrical grid and with the internet. Teresa Ford, it probably was the moon. When it's full moon, there's a lot of energy, especially since that one was a super full moon. I saw it the day before the full, and it was looking pretty wild. Hi, Amanda Carroll. Welcome on board. We're just kind of doing a loose Lemurian live chat. So basically, I just opened up the live chat so that people can come in and ask questions if they want. I accidentally got knocked off my first one this time. So makes me really pleased, though, that it didn't kill off my oracle card reading. Oh, I should probably stop using that word, too. I think that's one of the words that YouTube doesn't like. Nerfed. Maybe I should just simply say it. Nerfed my first one. I really like the unicorns that we've been using for the unicorn deck. We'll have to see if we continue with them next week or if it's back to the Lemurian cards. I kind of let the dolphins dictate to me whenever they're doing that. Yeah, and the moon and the moon is just really strange. At least my moon is. It's done some really bizarre things over here. So I try to ignore the moon as much as I can. Anytime that I look at it, it does some strange things. So it doesn't set or go in the correct pathway where I'm at. So sometimes it will rise and set really far to the south. Other times it will rise in the south and then it'll decide to set really far in the north. And then I've also, uh, I took video of it once, and it was beautiful because there was an ice ring around it. It was a full moon. I wasn't paying much attention. I was really excited about the ice moon or the ice ring around it. And then whenever I looked at the playback, I'm like, whoa, there are all kinds of craft that are coming and going from the moon. And I'm not talking like our craft, although I suppose it could be. Is Tuia a Lemurian name? I don't know, Leah. Did you hear it from me? Probably mispronouncing it. Sipping on moon water. Beautiful. Yeah, that's it. Sleep. If you can sleep, go ahead and nap as much as you can. Because like I was saying yesterday, I fought the sleep for a long, long time. And then just as soon as I fell asleep, I got huge upgrades. Oh, you saw another one of the little speeders, huh? In Nevada. Yeah, that's just it. There's quite a few in Nevada. I think that they're different from what we have up here. Like the ones that I have up here, they look like little sparkling rainbows. And so I think the ones that you see down there are probably the like the big triangle shapes maybe. I'm trying not to be too woo on here. It's just kind of going to be a little bit hard because it's it's a woo-woo show, but I'm a little nervous about losing my stream again. But yeah, I tend to avoid looking at the moon as much as I can now. It's like, okay, you do your thing, and I'm just going to stay over here, and it's all going to be good. Hi, Cosmic Blue Avian. How are you doing? Thanks for finding me. I was told it was my, well, it sounds pretty. Please hold. Are we working again? Oh no. This is a very tentative live stream this week. Oh, that's cool. Randy, so you saw one of the bright white spheres. The ones that I've seen has been they're rainbow spheres. So I mean, when I'm looking at it, it can be all kinds of different colors. I know, right? Easy. I'm not even attempting to do anything. I think it was that upgrade I had yesterday. It came in and just really powered up my heart energy. So it's very possible that that's going and it's knocking things sideways. I usually have a much better stream, much more stable Wi-Fi than this. Kind of tentative today. So we'll just keep this stream going as long as I can, and if it didn't, yeah, you have the same problem, huh, Cosmic Blue Avian? I don't think so. Earlier I had my other live stream got nerfed. I'm not too sure if it was because of something that I was doing or if it was because of the sometimes the military does come through here and it will knock out my Wi-Fi. Wondering if Mount Rainier is stirring. Do you think Rainier or do you think Mount St. Helens? I know one thing, Hood, Mount Hood, when we lived here in the 90s and then we went back to the Midwest for a while and came back out, it was highly noticeable that it had grown. It had changed. There was a lump that was on the side that was pretty distinctive, but it definitely had grown while we were gone. Yep. Yeah, one cannot bring too much energy. Yeah, you have to stay calm. Yeah, it is hypnicity. It's all in the same mountain range. Mount St. Helens, Mount Rainier, Hood, Baker, Sisters, Mount Washington. They're all the same. They're all going to be on the same ring of fire. So right now, knock on wood, I think that our seismic activity is in a pretty good space. Things are bubbling along out there, so makes me happy. I would much prefer it have a lot of small, tiny shakes going on all the way around the ring. Yeah, all around. Well, it's like here on the coast, if you drive down the Oregon coast on Highway 101, there's places where you can smell the sulfur, and in some places it's really heavy, and that's just it. It's from the sulfur vents that are it's escaping through here. Ley lines are strengthening. They very well could be. I don't normally play around with the ley lines. There are other people that are really, really drawn to grid work, and I tend to be more centered around the animals and the energy systems around animals and the people. And then I also do work on stabilizing, like things like weather or playing around with different things. Boy, no kidding. The idea of ash everywhere, not a happy thought. No kidding. Yeah, and that's just it, hypnicity. I think it's better when Mother Earth lets off some steam, and she is. That's why I said I much prefer whenever it's doing like the small earthquakes that's around the Ring of Fire, which is huge. It's going to be anywhere from Japan through like Bali, Jakarta, India, off the coast. And then it'll also go down into New Zealand and Australia, and then up the coast of like Chile and Peru, Ecuador. You get Mexico cities. Mexico will also include that. And then, of course, all the way up the West Coast and through Alaska. It's a huge ring. Yeah, and I'm not very happy with whenever again, it's another 2D entity thing where they begin doomy gloomy some things. Like they're like, uh-huh. Yeah, here it goes again. So apparently somebody just really doesn't like me talking too much today. But yeah, I don't appreciate whenever they're doomy gloomy, like, oh, the big one's coming to the Cascadia zones or what have you. I don't appreciate it. I don't think it's natural. And so it's just one of those deals where I try to get things to calm down a bit. I think one should be able to snow throw the ash. It didn't work out that way. Sure. Oh, yes. Because that's just simply the way that they are built. And I'm not sure because I have tried to feel um, into other planets to see, because I've had the same question, Amanda Carroll, and it doesn't seem like, some of the planets have that capacity as well, and what we would consider to be even more vile, I guess. And then other planets, they didn't seem to have an external type source. So they weren't actually eating or feeding. They were using like a plasma energy base that seemed to be in stasis. So I don't know. Yeah, tea garden chicken. I think the same thing. When Mother Nature's too quiet, then I worry. Yeah. So when she's doing all these little small things around the rim, then I'm happy because then it doesn't build up. It doesn't do that pressure cooker thing. I'm not sure. I didn't verify it, but supposedly I think there was a volcano that went off over in Russia somewhere. I'm not positive of that, but it's one of those deals where it's like, oh, I'll have to look into that. So it did go off. I saw where there was a couple of people that were I want to say it was Indonesia. There was a um, there was a volcano that threw some stuff up into the air. Mm, hmm. Okay, Russia. Russia had the volcano go off, which is kind of surprising because Russia does not normally have the volcanoes go off, if I remember correctly. Usually there are ones that are in Italy that go. Yeah, ecology does need the balance because the other thing that people forget about is that the plants are also sentient. And so we need to have the balance also with the herbivores. Um, trees don't like to be eaten either. The only ones that I have seen that will tolerate being eaten, oddly enough, is grass. And they just sadomasochistic, maybe? I don't know. But the grass thrive on being eaten. So they actually do need the herbivores. But like the other stuff, like the trees, and then of course the different vegetables and the plants, they don't appreciate being eaten. Um, I'll never forget it. I mean, I was a child in the '70s, and they had a TV show come on, and a man had taken sensors, a polygraph test basically, and they put the sensors on a plant, and he didn't actually harm the plant, but he turned on a Bic lighter of one of those little handheld things that has flame, and he started to put it towards the plant, and the readings just went off the chart. I mean, for all intents and purposes, that plant was screaming, and that hit me that day. They are every bit as sentient as any of the animals. And yeah, that's just it, hypnicity. If we don't honor the balance with the animals, then they not only do they get overrun, but Mother Nature, and it's brutal because then you will have the diseases that whip through like wildfire, and it'll wipe out a complete ecosystem. And it does balance itself, but it's really brutal for the animals that are there. Either they'll die from the starvation, like what is in the case sometimes of you'll have like huge herds of deer and elk, and then they'll have a brutal winter and they'll starve to death. And the other way is sometimes, like in the case of too many raccoons, they'll have a distemper go through and it'll just wipe them completely out in that area. And then that area just doesn't have raccoons for a while until other ones begin to edge in from further away. Nature does balance itself out, but she always does this weeble wobble thing. She doesn't seem to be really in a true even balance. There seems to be that rising of tides and then going away from tides. And yeah, Mother Earth. It's not just that Mother Earth needs it. We need to be clean in our homes. We do need to pay attention and make sure that we don't throw trash out the window, and we don't want junk going into sewage and things going into our streams and into our rivers and waters and oceans. We need to stay as clean and clear as we possibly can on our surroundings, air especially. Oh my word! But um, I think most of the first world nations, I think, have done a really good job. I mean, kind of like the coal burners, they have got really sturdy filtration centers, and the same thing for the factories that do put water back into the rivers. Like I can remember the Ohio and the smog. Things have changed a lot in the U.S. We've taken much better care of the land, water, sky here. Possums. Possums are fine so long as they're not anywhere near my horses. I like guinea hens better. My main thing with the possums is that they do eat an awful lot of different things. They're great for pest management, but with the horses, they carry something that's called EPN, and it's a protozoa that they poop out onto the horse's food or into their grazing areas, and so they can get sick ingesting that. But that's the other thing too, is snails is another one of those intermediates for the parasite loads. All fun, part and parcel. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's another, parasites is another another one of the balancers for Mother Nature. Snails carry so many of them. But the apple snails are so cute. I actually do like snails. I know I shouldn't, but I think they're fun. We've got something out here called a banana slug. That's just huge. Yeah, see, and I don't obsess about it, but I worry about the possums. And so I make sure that they're not welcomed in and around where my hay stores are and where my grazing spaces are. If they want to play around at the creek in the back, that's fine. I honestly don't know, Teresa Ford. She's asking, do you think our sky family will help get rid of parasites like ticks? Part of me thinks I would just absolutely love to get rid of the parasites. But I also recognize that our bird friends eat so many of the ticks. And I got to be honest, I don't know if they were to go out the window, how that would affect the birds. Then there's a few of the different species of animals. Reptiles are another one, the geckos and whatnot. And that's what they live on. So, I mean, if we were to remove things like the parasites and the ticks, I'm not sure how badly that would really imbalance things. You kissed a banana slug once on a field trip with my kiddo. That's too funny. Did you impress your kiddo, Amanda Carol? I've seen people that are actually using snail slime as a moisturizer, I guess, for the skin. That's kind of crazy. I think Washington State mascot is a banana slug. I don't know. Oregon could probably fight you for that one. You wouldn't believe the people back east too. Whenever I tell them just how big a banana slug is, they're like, they think it's some sort of a urban legend or something. No, they can't possibly be that big. Yes, they can. Amanda Carol. Oh, that's funny. I know, right? Tea garden chicken. I don't think the slug should be big enough to trip over. Oh, Lord. Yeah. Ethnicity, unintended results occur when we try to eradicate an entire species. Yeah, and it's kind of like what happened out here. When the fur trappers came, we had so many sea otters off the Oregon coast and off all of the west coast, basically, of America. And they trapped them, and if I remember right, it was highly sought for the Chinese. And so in a very brief amount of time, they imbalanced it by capturing most of these sea otters. And eventually they stopped because they realized, hey, we're going to run out of sea otters, period. They suddenly had a dearth of, what are they called? The little spiny ones. I'm going to mess this name up. Echidnas? No. Because that is, they look like a little tiny ball with really big spikes. And I know the Asian people just love to eat them. They're, urchins. That was the name of it. Sea urchins. Okay, so the sea otters eat primarily sea urchins and pretty much anything that they can get a hold of. And then the urchins started to eat the sea kelp buds and started to, they were herbivores. And so without the big predator of the sea otters there, that really started to impact the ecosystem under the water. So I'm very happy that we're starting to get the sea otters. Actually, it's not even starting to. The sea otters have been back. They finally recognized it, I think, about a month ago. Because somebody was trying to tell our Oregon state conservationists, and they're like, "Oh, yeah, right. Well, no, we don't believe you." And so they sent video of a couple of sea otters that were playing just off of Cannon Beach, finally. And oh, says the government person. Oh, yeah, proof positive they really are here. But I'm laughing because I had seen them. I didn't have proof because I didn't have a camera with me, and we didn't have cell phones back in the 90s. But I'd seen them down in Lincoln City. I'd seen 5 of them. So. Oh, you tried the sea urchin, huh? Randy, you're braver than I am. There is no way that I would try that. There are some things that just not food for me. Are mer people real? I think so. Why not? There are the Celtic mythologies will talk of Selkies, and Selkies were the mer people who were in the shape of a seal. And what would happen is they would haul out on land, take off their skin, their pelt, fold it up, and turn into a human form. And then if it's a strange mythology, but if a man could capture skin, then he could take as a wife. Did it again. Well, we'll just sit here for just a second while my little stream comes through. Do you ever see us living underwater? Me personally, I wouldn't, but that's not to say that other people can't. Why are the seals attacking the people in South Africa? Potentially because the seals depends on when their breeding season is. They might be the people in South Africa might be getting too close to seals that are being pupped, or they might be getting too close to important feeding grounds for them. Yeah, on the Selkies. And yes, hypnicity, there are subterranean cities for sure. Freak out about what we don't know. That'd be cool. I heard we will be living on Earth on the sky. That'd be kind of cool. I do know that we're on Lemuria 5 right now as it is. We've already phased into that. So that's Planet Matea. But the cool thing is that right now we are coming out of the old cycle, the 26,000 years of darkness. And we are coming into the photon belt from Alkian. And that's astronomy, that's not astrology. And so as the new photons are coming in, sky's the limit. It's going to be interesting to see what the changes will be on Earth. We know from some of the really old scriptures and texts, some of the ancient histories. Well, we get to wait for the internet to render again. Maybe. Are we behaving? This has been a really challenging live stream. La 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 la. Am I back? Okay, I think I might be back. Okay, now I'm back. Where was I? Oh, the photon belts. Please hold. Okay. But I don't know what we're going to be having coming in, but it's kind of fun to imagine. And some of the older texts, they talk about the previous golden eras that we have lived through, and so it will be a renaissance. Um, and I'm kind of excited to see what we end up with. It could be plasma energy based. Um, just I don't know. It should be a lot of fun. I think for a lot of it, it's just simply, yeah, why not? Oh, thank you, Teresa Ford. Thank you for Randy for letting me know that I'm back. It's been interesting today. This one's just been a kind of a struggle of a day to keep the internet going. It's very rare for us here. Normally, we've got a much better internet connection. Here we go. Selkies. Selkies was the one that I was talking about. That was the Celts, and that's the one that will shed the seal skin in order to walk around as a human. Can we telepathically talk to our fish? Absolutely, Leah. I have done so. Absolutely. Crystalline. Yep. Mary Spirit. And that's part of why we keep knocking out for these upgrades and for the naps, because our current carbon-based system needs to adapt to the crystalline structure that we'll be headed towards. I know your fishies feel your love. What you can do with the animals is talk to them, but keep your mouth shut. So in your mind, go ahead and do the same energetic motion that you would do, like if you're talking to them, but keep your mouth shut. And what you can do is just ask them to do something simple, like swim in front of me, and see what you get. Or my favorite with any of the animals is always, with your mouth shut, can you hear me? And then just see what they'll do. Some animals get very over the top whenever they find that you can directly talk to them that way. But animals themselves are very telepathic. And whenever you're receiving messages from them, sometimes you can hear them, but most of the time what happens with the animals is that they will send you images. So they'll look like little snippets from the TV. Yeah, I love pufferfish. They're so cute. Those beautiful blue eyes. Well, thank you for being here, Leah. I appreciate you as well. Yep. They feel the love. They're really fun to practice with your telepathy too, because you can get some pretty quick feedback with a fish. You can even bribe them. Yep. Gretchen, she barks louder at me. Yes, she can hear you. She's telling you, yes. I was just thinking with the fish, it's like, hey, mentally projecting to them. Oh, here we go again. La 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 la. I'm going to try to hold it. There we go. Okay. But yeah, with the fish, you can just mentally say, hey, come here in front of me and I will give you a piece of food. Although I gotta say with a fish, be careful, because they can be over the top. It's a lot of fun. I learned about the telepathy thing with the critters long ago, whenever I was a kid, because oh boy, this is really rough today. I don't know what the feedback is going to be on this. It keeps knocking my internet out. There we go. But yeah, as a child, the telepathy thing with the critters was fun, simply because I was told to hush as a kid, because I got to be honest, I used to talk way too much as a kid. But yeah, I discovered with the critters that I could keep my mouth shut. And then in my mind, of course, I was still asking them, can you hear me? What do you think? And they could react, which was a lot of fun. I think one of my favorites was whenever I was 13 and I had a pet butterfly for about a day. I couldn't. I tried to make up some nectar with the sugar, but the butterfly just simply wasn't quite cooperating with that. But wow, you talk about fun. I nicknamed her Beauty. I don't know if it was a male or a female, truthfully. It was a big monarch butterfly. But she would fly to my hand. That was whenever I was at my grandma's house. Of course, my aunt was unimpressed because she had just come home from like a shift at the factory, and I'm like, check out my new butterfly. And I had brought it into the kitchen, and of course, Beauty was busy doing circles around the kitchen. And my poor aunt, she's like, oh, great, one more thing. Now I've got a bug to get out of the kitchen before I can start dinner. I was so insulted. I held up my hand and I called my butterfly back over. And I was really disappointed because I was like, my butterfly's not making a mess. It's not a problem. But if you don't like it, Beauty and I will go back up to the room. Stomp back up. You could have knocked her over with a feather. Because, I mean, as soon as I called my butterfly, the butterfly came flying straight over onto my hand. And I was stomping back up the stairs with my butterfly on my hand. Oh, she was so beautiful. But yeah, it was a lot of fun. Yeah, if I could talk to the animals and learn the languages. A lot of it literally is just talking in your own voice in your head, and they do pick up the images that we project to them, and then they repeat them back in flashes and images as well. At least, I don't call myself per se an animal communicator, but that is what I have gotten from them. So when I'm doing my energy healing, it's kind of a double thing where, yeah, the animals will send me images of what's going on, but whenever I'm doing oops, this is kind of silly. Okay, there we go. But yeah, whenever I'm working on them energetically, then what happens is I can kind of, it looks kind of like a hologram. I can see the meridians in them. It's kind of colored lines. And I can kind of feel around, see what stations. Oh, gone. La 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 la. Waiting, waiting, waiting. It's going to be a really interesting video to see just how much comes through and how much of this is. There we go. But yeah, so whenever I go into it, it's a matter of picking up their sensations and seeing what I feel, because sometimes they don't know what's going on in their own body. And I find that the same thing with the people as well. Sometimes you'll be so hyper focused on, say your hand and wrist hurt, and then I can go in and I'll find that it actually tracks into your elbow, and truly it tracks up into the shoulder and the spine. So that's where it's beginning. And it's the same thing whenever I'm doing the meridian work. It might be that you've just topped up. A lot of it is we're all getting activations, literally, Randy. So if you need to go lay down, get yourself an upgrade. And I've never had my Wi-Fi be this fickle before. It's getting kind of amusing just to see what's going on with it, because it keeps doing this. It's never so often. And I mean, I've got as much Wi-Fi in this as I possibly can. We're not even in a storm or anything, so it's been most unique to watch this today. Ever so often, it just kind of turfs itself, so I have no idea what the playback is even going to look like today. Just to let you know, well, I still have my Wi-Fi, but I also have a show with Valerie next week. So that's going to be Illumination Portal on the 28th. Huh. And I'm not too sure when the show is. I want to say it's going to be at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. But I do want to just simply say it. Oh, you think that the solar flares are messing with the internet? I got to say, in my area, it's probably more to do with the military. We literally have an awful lot of flights that are going by. And I kind of hope that they could go ahead and figure something out with it, because the airplanes use 5G technology. And I'm not really picky. They could have 6G technology and give us the 5G, or we could go to 6G and they could stick to 5G. I just think that we have a lot of conflict using the same thing. A lot of debate on the neighborhood chat about feeding the crows. I'm a crow feeder. The difficulty with feeding the crows would depend on just how large the population of the crows is. If you're really feeding them, sometimes you can end up overfeeding them, and they end up having a lot more babies that make it to full size. And then, what's to say what's going to happen to them when the people that feed them, if something happens to the feeders? Are you enabling a population that otherwise wouldn't be capable of taking care of themselves? It's a strong debate. I get it. We've got a really decent crow population here, and I utterly, utterly adore the crows. They know me. I know them. Even when we haven't seen each other for a while, we still get excited. Like, I saw them in town the other day, and they just, oh, it's you, it's you, it's you. So we're standing there calling back and forth. Oh, Cosmic Blue Avian. They actually have 5 and 7G tech. Do you think that's human base, or if that's UFO type base? If that's human base, then that means eventually that'll be coming. And like I said, I don't mind so much. They just simply need to have not all of us stuck on the same bandwidth, because I preferred the 3 and the 4G. It seemed pretty stable to me. Oh, the Seattle crows. I've been giving less. I don't want them. Yeah, see, that would be my only thing. I would just simply want to make sure with the crows that they're not becoming dependent on the people, because that causes trouble. They need to know where their own natural sources are. Yep. Tea garden chicken. I love the crows that we had out here. Most of them have gone back in. They go into our little tourist town, because in the summertime we have tourists, and that means French fries. But I've had them out here before, and they'll mob, especially in the springtime. And I had some guys come out, and that was quite a few years back, and they were taking the water from the stream in the creek in the back and cleaning the bridge. Well, it was the first year that I had seen them. And at the time I had a whole bunch of horses here. And so I went out to go find out what the people were doing at the stream at the back. And the crows, when I talked to the guys, the crows came through, and they kind of intimidated the guys, because the crows, of course, were flying overhead. What are you doing with our human? We know her. We're not so sure about you. It looked like something out of a horror flick. Oh, cool. UFO type, huh? So that's going to be that's just it. As we go forward, I know that we have, UFOs. I know that we have either higher dimensional beings or different UFO friends out there. And so I think in time, what's going to happen is I'm hoping it'll be a nice, gentle reveal. I don't want anybody really in shock between the two as we go to meet our new cosmic cousins. Grief. So I mentioned cosmic cousins, and they just knocked out my internet again. This is getting kind of funny, actually. Yeah, I love Valerie. She is such a sweetheart. Aww. Yay. Randy fixed it in about 15 minutes. Wrecked my knee a year ago. Ouch. Good Lord. Hmm. I wouldn't doubt it. You know, with the Cosmic Blue Avian, I was always really happy with the 3G technology. It seemed a lot more stable to me than what we've got now. Yeah, some yikes. Well, hello. How you doing, Melon? Melon Abramson. I probably completely mispronounced your name. It's nice to see you again. Hello from Sweden. Hello from the Oregon coast. It will be a gentle reveal to our star family. And quite a large group of people will probably be shocked, and that's just it. I think um, as much as we try to connect, I think that it's going to be uh, still a little bit of a shock whenever we first meet, because unless they start revealing themselves in small snippets, I'm not so sure how used we will get to be with their appearances. Like, for example, the Star Nation beings that come in as the symbols, as the animals for the Motu, they've taken animal forms like the falcon um, for this month. And it's as close as they can get, but they don't really look like that. Um, and I think that's part of why, like the light beings that keep coming in for me to do the upgrades that I have seen, I think that they're trying to not be as intimidating as some of the stuff that I saw way back whenever I was in my 20s. I accidentally bumped into the lioness headed goddess that was in Egypt, and quite frankly, very intimidating. So I think they're trying not to scare the babies as they come in. Oh, Randy, you've got to go rest. Go have a beautiful nap, honey. Oh, it's going to be on Illumination Portal. Yeah, I haven't made contact yet with Dragonfly Crystals. Although Sal Rods, she had an amazing video with Dragonfly Crystals. That was on July. She had a whole bunch of video. Waiting, waiting, waiting. Waiting, waiting, waiting. La la. I'm waiting to see if my thing will come back up again. There we go. Okay, 2 bars. But yeah, on Sal Rods, she had a show with Dragonfly Crystals on 7/7, so July 7th, and it shows. I think it was simply called non-human entities, but she's got some great videos, and of course, everybody's like, okay, is that a bug? What is that? Could be mist, could be a steam. But she slows down the video so that you can see, and those are definitely high dimensional beings that are coming through. So if you get a chance, that was a really great video to watch. It's really nice to see you here again, Melon. It's been a while, huh? Yeah, and that's just it with the Lemurian technology and with the Lemurian birth signs and everything that's coming through. We're beginning to recognize and remember each other as we're coming in. Well, hello, Miss Annie Bear. How you doing? I'm gonna give our newcomers a little bit of a heads up. This has been a huge struggle today to keep the chat open. My internet has been really interesting. We completely lost the very first live chat, and this one's been wobbly throughout. So ever so often, my internet does stall. So I don't know what that looks like on your side, but knock on wood, we're keeping it going. Oh, cool. Lori's saying Sal Rods is going to be on with Valerie and Dragonfly Crystals tomorrow night at 6 Central. So that'll be fun. It'll be a lot of fun. Malin, do you know what your Lemurian birth sign is? I bet you told me before, I just don't remember it. People popping in and out. If you just tell me your birth month and birthday, I can tell you if you need. I know, right? The Pleiadians will be the first to come in, and that's absolutely. I completely agree because they're more humanoid, and it won't be nearly so intimidating. Because I mean, if we have something like one of the mantis show up, I mean, we're kind of used to seeing things, but normal people, they would be really terrified if a gigantic bug popped out of the ground. Wow. So it's evening time in Sweden. It's coming up noon my time here on the Oregon coast. So you're born the 28th of December. You're an okapi, and that is the forest giraffe, and that is light of father is the essence. So that's what yours is. I love the Motus. And the Motus is what those are called. They're the new Lemurian, well, ancient new Lemurian Birthsigns. New simply because we're remembering them again, but they've been around for a very very long time. Yeah, it's like with the Pleiades. I know there's a lot of Pleiadian energy in with the Lemurian technologies, and then me personally, I've been stalked by the planet Sirius, which or star system, I should say. There's actually a binary star, is what that is. There's two of them. One is Kahu, and the other one is Rahu. So one is the whales, and the other one is the dolphins. Sure, Mary Spirit, you're going to be a Honu. Type that out for you, Honu, and Honu is sea turtle for March. March is March 1st through the 28th is Honu, and that's the sea turtle. And navigation is the essence for that. Amanda Carroll's another Okapi. That's so cool. Teresa Ford, you're a parrot, and that is the voice. But you know, Teresa Ford, I don't know if you've been around the parrots, but if the parrots are around someone that's new, they can be really shy. It's kind of like I used to work in a place called Tropical Pet, and we had one. His name was Scooby. He's a green wing macaw. He was so cute. He would not, because we would come in the morning about an hour before we opened to clean the birds and get everything ready, get them fed and everything. And a lot of times we would turn on the rock station just to get the music flowing and to get our chores done. And Scooby would dance, but not if you were looking at him. And of course he would talk, but again, he wouldn't if he thought you were looking at him, he wouldn't talk. So it's the same thing. A lot of times the parrots are shy, but boy, you get them in front of somebody that they know, then the talking comes out. Teresa Levine, that is Hia. So that is the sign of the hare. And the essence for Hia is endurance. Yeah, you recharge alone. That's a good idea. Well, you know, and that's just it. Cosmic Blue Avian. I don't think that they're really going to make contact with our leaders that are in charge at the White House and things like that. I think really that they're going to be trying to reach into us, you know, us at the forefront. I keep telling people about it, but the photonic energy that's been coming in, I see every day, and it looks like the dazzling lights that you would see on like a lake. And there have been 5 beings whenever I walk in between my barn or my house or around the house at all. apparently they're appearing in front of me, and I will stand and wait. But they haven't come through completely. But I consider that feedback for myself to keep going. See, an Annie Bear sees the lights in those clouds. Perfect. It's the same thing. I think that we're upgrading, just not there just quite yet. But it gives me feedback that we're on the right pathway for that. Um, do I know anything? Melon's asking, do I know anything about the different blood groups? Unfortunately, I don't. And I don't know if that would be an effect of the Atlantis or not. I personally couldn't speak to that because I don't know. But we love you all the same. Lemurian, Atlantis, doesn't really matter because we're here now. See a body of water on a cliffside. Yeah, yeah, your personal initiation. And that's just it. I think that we will be coming through. I haven't met Dr. Gale yet. I reached out to her, I think that was back in June, but I think that the email may have fallen through. Um, Terry at Holding Your Space, she tried to get us in contact with each other. And so I did reach out to her, but I haven't made contact yet. But it wouldn't surprise me. And the main thing is, a lot of times the timelines keep changing. It's not even so much that the times keep changing, the timelines themselves keep changing. And a lot of it has to do with us. We've been conditioned for so long under the old system of being controlled. There's always got to be the high man on the totem pole, and the rest of us are underneath it. And so we ourselves need to start standing on our own 2 feet and coming more and doing our best to lift each other up, but at the same time, holding our own sovereignty. Oh, you think she was driving back east? That's very possible. Oh, bye, Teresa Ford. Thanks for stopping in. But yeah, I think with the emails, just get lost. Oh, I might try again. Wow. Yep, here we go again. We're gonna wait. That's pretty cool. Yay! Yay! Okay, so we're back. But yeah, that's really cool, Lori. happy dance. And that's just it. I think that as time goes on, we'll be seeing more and more of them pop in. I know with mine, like I said, they look like a little rainbow, just a small orb shape, but it's got different color lights flashing. I first started noticing that whenever I saw the star Sirius fall out of its constellation, pretty much. And then I started noticing these rainbow colored lights that were doing these grid patterns over the farm and over the local shore. And ever so often, I just wave to them, and then they'll dip up and down or bob around as an acknowledgement. I've seen them, they've seen me, which is really cool. It was like this, the more that you start looking for these, the more they begin to appear. And I think the more that we continue to do like our meditations and we try to stay in our heart space, and there again, if you're getting wrapped up in that 2D playbook of like politics or sports or any kind of a division thing where it's like a them versus me thing, it drags you away from the real thing, which is going up in your frequencies. And by that, it can be something as simple as playing in the pool. You can do a garden, taking a short walk. Whenever I say like morning meditation, when you come up out of bed, you're already pretty close to the same wavelengths that you would use in meditation. And you can just take that time to imagine your best possible outcome. So you can just imagine peace or sovereignty, what you want your world to look like, and just frame up a really awesome day. Yeah, now that they've shown themselves to you, they'll continue to show themselves more and more now that you've seen them the first time. That's really cool. It's like mine. It's gotten so frequent now that hubby's like, unless they actually come down and make contact, I'm just not that interested now. Wow, you've gotten jaded pretty quick. I always like mine. Pretty cool. Sirius B, wonderful. The light blue surge is coming through to the surface. We'll say planet Matea. Seeing them gives you confidence. You can imagine also feeling into what that planet looks like or feels like for you. If I remember right, Sirius B is going to be Kahu, and that is the whales, the whale energy, the whale planet. Star Nation beings. Seeing them gave me confidence. That is so amazing. That's so cool. And for those people that haven't seen it, no big hurry. You'll see it. Especially if you want to see it, they'll start appearing. Sometimes it's not even a matter of, when is it going to come to me or when am I going to have contact or whatever. It's a matter of just keeping calm and keeping on your path, because what Lori's experienced or what I've experienced may not be what you've experienced. The people that make contact with you may look different. They may have a different contact with you. You may hear something. I think it was 2 years ago, I had an experience where, and I do have clairaudience already, but mine was heightened with what I was doing. And standing in the field, I could hear what sounded like cosmic rays coming in. It was very staticky, very, very crackly. No idea what it was. But it's all good. Water planet. Dr. Gail goes there regularly just to relax. Yeah. I think we've managed to drag this out a little bit longer than I expected it to. Alrighty, gang. Well, I'm going to call it a day since we've had such an unusual internet time. I want to thank everybody, though, for sticking with it. We managed to have a conversation. Yee! Much wawa. And that means love. It's really nice. Thank you so much for stopping in, everybody. And I'm going to be back, like I said, not this week. Next week it'll be with Valerie. But what we might try to do is set up another appointment for doing the live chat then. I don't know. We might do another live chat next week at the same time, or we might do it on a different day. But thank you so much for stopping in, and definitely for hanging in there with me. This has been very unusual, but I really appreciate all of you, and I hope you've had a great week. I'll see you again next week. Bye-bye.